Yeah. My voice is audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. It gives me a immense pleasure to introduce today's resource person, Shri Praveen Udupa. Uh, he completed his BE in Computer Science from Vivekananda College of Engineering and Technology, and he completed MTech in Computer Science from NMA MIT NITTE. And his work experience concerned, worked as a software engineer at uh, Mock Telecom, Bangalore, worked in R&D team, Cochin as software developer, worked as technical architect at Bangalore, founder, the technical director of A1 Logics, Bangalore 2009 to till date. And here are the list of the achievements by Praveen. He attended and presented a paper on 30 plus national and international summits conferences, participated in South Asia level managers meet representing Mac Telecom, awarded as the best employee of the year at Fox for the year 2008-2009, currently undergoing PMP certification, currently the member of Board of Study for the Information Engineering and MTech for NITTE, founder, alumni president of Vivekananda College of Engineering and Technology, and he is a member of a mentoring committee of Karnataka New Age Incubation Network at NITTE, member of Rotary Club Mangalore, uh, and served as a member of Departmental Advisory Board in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at Joseph College of Engineering, awarded with JCI Sadhana Shri for the year 2015 and JCI Kamala Patra Award winner for the year 2019, member of local managing committee of MSME Business Incubation Center NITTE, awarded Outstanding Young Achiever Award by JCS Mangalore on November 2018, and member of Executive Committee of IEEE Mangalore subsection, and he is serving as a mentor at Startup Karnataka since 2017, and currently Praveen Udupa is the founder and technical director of A1 Logics. With this, I'm very happy to introduce Mr. Praveen Udupa. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your brief introduction. Now I request Mr. Praveen Udupa to take over the session.
Thank you, Nikita. Thank you, Sandeep, for that wonderful introduction of mine. I hope I'm audible to everyone, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So at the outset, I'm privileged to address the gathering of 52 members, those who are spending their precious time out here. So with that, let me share my screen for a small presentation which I have prepared for you. For the opportunity and the title for today's session. Yes, shall I? Right? I heard some voice in between.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, entrepreneurship development phases. So, to be frank, it is the toughest task in my life to concise this topic of minimum 76 hours in 1 hour. So, I'll do my level best. I'll do justice for this 1 hour to concise this 70 plus hours topic into 1 hour. So, I thought of rather than mugging up the textbook details or the literature details to put forward in front of you with the real time scenarios or real time situations. So that makes more interesting. I believe the session will be I'll continue with the N2, the same N2 what I'll begin with. Having said so this will be my common slide in all the sessions when I start with the topic of anything related to entrepreneurship. Can you just note it down what all the things are there in this single picture? When we say entrepreneurship, Some people will think about 45%, 25% time, sale, the chart, internet, business, 5-stored, 10-stored buildings, success graphs, 4-dimensional graphs, dollar, money, chart, whatnot, ideas, right? So when we so each one of this picture within the picture, we can talk for about hours. Just imagine the depth of the topic what you are going to have right now. So that is the purpose of introducing our my session. I always begin with this image to make sure that you should understand what we are going to spend in next 1 hour is very important if you are thinking in terms of entrepreneurship. Moving ahead, so it's a small thing. Can the host enable the chat window for the audience, please? Chatting options. So because I want to know how many of you want to become an entrepreneur or how many of you want to become a businessman. Entrepreneurship as well as businessman. If not, just keep your answer in your mind. Trust me, I'm going to ask the same question at the end of my session again. I'll repeat. How many of you are going to become an entrepreneur or how many of you want to become a businessman? After the end of my session, I'm going to put forward the same question. Those who are answers remains the same, welcome to the Elite Club. And those who have changed their mind, you have to rethink again. Okay, now some people are in a state where they're confused about these two terms. Sir, you told entrepreneurship and businessman, what is the major difference? We are not aware of these two terminologies. This slide is for them. A businessman always starts his business from an existing idea or a concept, whereas entrepreneur has his own idea, call it as a unique idea or a concept, and he want to build upon that. And businessman always follows the traditional approach because he want to stay safe, whereas entrepreneur always want to go with the revolutionary, innovative approach. By that means he is always a risk taker, and he is accountable for that risk taking. Something goes wrong, he will not point on somebody else, and something success comes, then he will share that success with everyone. Businessman will be always a profit oriented. I want this much money to be earned, whereas the entrepreneur is a people oriented. We call it as employee or customer or public, whatever. When I say people, it doesn't mean that only employee, maybe a customer or a public, like that. Businessman always hire people to increase the business productivity. He can give them productivity. So a businessman is a market player, whereas entrepreneur is a market leader. So this is a small difference between an entrepreneur and a businessman. Moving ahead, this is a very realistic slide, the reasons to become an entrepreneur. If I ask any one of you, why you want to become an entrepreneur, your answer will be one of these. To start with, most of them fall into this category, saying that I have a unique idea, nobody has ever done it, I want to take it to the market. So some people fall into this category, whereas some more people here, I want to be my own boss. I don't want to report to anyone. I don't want anyone to monitor me. I want to be the supreme authority. That's the reason I want to become an entrepreneur. And some people, yes, if I become an entrepreneur, I can mint money like anything. I have more money with me. That is the reason. That is a financial reward. I want to become an entrepreneur. The next category of people would be, so if I become an employee, then I have to work as per the company standard. I don't have a scope to work in my own innovative way. But if you become an entrepreneur, you have a scope for your work in your innovative way. Nobody is going to stop you because you are the risk taker. As I told earlier, the risk is bared by you. Okay. Now, next set of people is external influence. अरे देखो उसका मेरा दोस्त का बेटा अभी एंटरप्रेन्योर बन गया, बड़ा ऑफिस शुरू किया. अरे तूने क्या किया? I see my aunt's son or daughter has started a new company. You are still lying over here, or you're working for a company. Then somebody's friends, elder sisters, brothers, cousin is started a company. It's called external influence. Or maybe see, oh, mera junior tha yaar. I mean, he was my junior in my college. He was okay kind of thing in the college, but he started a firm and he is big man nowadays. See, that is the external influence. Last one is which doesn't fall into any all of these. Very rare case, there are few, which I'm going to address in a little later. So these are the reasons, typical 5 reasons people want to become an entrepreneur. First, you have your own idea which you want to take it into market. You want to be your own boss. There will be more financial rewards. I want to do my work in my innovative way, or external influence. Then there are major categories of entrepreneurs. One is called as pure entrepreneurs. The second one, the definition instead of saying the definition of pure entrepreneur, if I tell the definition of forced entrepreneurs, then you will understand what I mean by pure entrepreneurs. Forced entrepreneurs are the one who are only looking at the rewards, money, name, positions. As I told, I want to be the richest person in the world, money, or I want to be more famous, or I want to be my own boss. So these are the forced. They are not bothered about the phases of entrepreneurship. They don't know the difficulties of, or they don't know the pathway of entrepreneurship, but they are only looking at these rewards, money, name, position, etc. The second forced entrepreneurship category is nothing but influence. As I told, somebody is done like that, why can't you? And he had done, why not I? So with this, you understood the forced entrepreneurs. Now it is very obvious and clear about the pure entrepreneurs. In the sense, they are not bothered about the money at this point of time, or they are not bothered about the name or the position, or they are not the influenced one. They have some ignite in their life to become entrepreneurship, to be part of entrepreneurship, and they want to build the company, not the money or not the glory. So they are called as pure entrepreneurs. Now, so we got to know about the reason to become an entrepreneur. Now let us dig a little further. So what is the criteria? What is the criteria? Is there any fixed guideline to become entrepreneur? What do you think? Is the age is a criteria? The answer will be obviously no. There is no upper limit. There is no lower limit. At any age you can become an entrepreneur. What about the qualification? Just answer yourself. Would you think qualification matters to become an entrepreneur? What do you think? Answer will be partially. If you ask me, I'll say partially. In the sense, it depends. It adds value when you, as a very good qualified person, talking to your vendor or your client or wherever you are. Got it? Say, for example, I'll give my own example. I have done my MTech. To be frank, my MTech qualification may not be getting utilized in my work, but wherever I go and present my visiting card saying that I have done my BE plus MTech, oh, MTech, okay, good. Where you have done? Okay, how many teams? So that's how that the level of expectation will be entirely different. So qualification matters in terms of expectation setting and in terms how they judge you. It may not be directly useful for your industry or the work what you are going to do, but indirectly it will be useful. How about potential? Yes, you should have that urge in you to become an entrepreneur. Then only you'll be able to succeed. Otherwise, if you are a forced entrepreneur, he cannot be successful person. What about communication? The answer will be obviously yes, yes, yes. There is no second thought on that. You don't simply think that I'm just a pure programmer. I'll sit and do program. No, business won't happen just in front of the computer. You should communicate. You should tell about what you have done. Then only people will understand. So if you have something in front of you which you have done exclusively by you or your company, and if you are not able to make it to reachable to the market or to the world, then no point in developing that one. Then what happens? Your competitor will copy that and he will promote it very well. I repeat, he will promote it very well and he will become the market leader. So it is not the problem with you or your product, because we haven't communicated, we haven't promoted. So communication plays a very key role. What about the contacts? Yes, I'm talking about an entrepreneur. Say if you have any product with a pure high and branding, then contact doesn't matter. But here, started from scratch, you don't know to whom to sell, or people may not be able to trust you for some reason since you are a beginner. So in that case, your contacts helps you to reach the people. I hope you are following my points or getting what I'm trying to say here. The contacts sphere of you will help you to get that initial entries. Next point, how about money? You think money is an important criteria to become an entrepreneur? How many believe yes and how many says no for this point? Okay, the answer would be it depends on the kind of business what you are getting into. Yes, I repeat, it depends on the kind of business what you are planning to get into. There are some businesses where it requires the initial capital. So like you are setting up a pharma factory, you are manufacturing some tablets or medicine, then it requires investment in crores. The office setup depends. It depends on the kind of business what you're looking at. If you're thinking in terms of a software business, definitely location doesn't matter. If you're having a business, when I say entrepreneur, don't just think about only a IT business or a software development company. It may be anything. Imagine you are having a sari shop or dress shop of your own. Yes, you are an entrepreneur, but the location matters a lot here. If you are put up in the corner, somewhere in the corner, people may not tend to come to your place. So make sure the kind of business what you are getting into has a location dependency or not. You have to identify that first. If it doesn't have any location dependency, then it doesn't matter wherever you start, and as long as you are able to connect to your vendor or your clients or your team. The next point would be, wow, hard work. Is it? Yes, hard work with the smart work is mandatory. It is one of the adequate or must and should criteria. Last one. Don't you think it's an odd point over here? Family and friends? But not, trust me, my friends, family and friends plays a key role. You may be asking how. Or somebody may be thinking, yeah, they will be giving initial money for you. No, not only in that point of view. So in terms of commitments. So once you become entrepreneur, if whenever I talk about this slide, I always remember my early days. So I used to be traveling a lot with my friends for tours, picnics, and I used to be part of all my family functions with my parents and all. The moment I started this firm, it's 10 years back now. That time I had to cut short everything. Friends, whenever they invite, sorry, this client meeting, I have additional work, extra work. I have my own travel, official visits. Sorry, I cannot join. Same thing with the parents also. That function, this function, one more function. Now this time I'm very sorry because I have already committed my time to my office. So how does this family and friends becomes one of the criteria is initial days there will be a little friction from their side. What is nowadays is not coming. But if you made them to convince why you are doing all these things, why you are given priority to your entrepreneurship or your firm because you are in the initial stage, then they should understand your feelings and your emotion towards your entrepreneurship. Then if they become supportive, nothing better than that. So family and friends, not only in terms of financial or the contacts, getting the contacts or getting the money or getting the location, not only in terms of these points, but also in terms of giving a moral support, emotional support, emotional backup. They play a key role. How about situation? Criteria, situation. Yes, there are some people out of some frustration, out of some grudge, out of some guilty, out of some humiliation, they ended up becoming entrepreneur. So that they had that urge. It was just like a cracker. They had a bomb in their pocket. They don't know what is the potential of that bomb. But somebody triggered it. Somebody else or some situation triggered it. Now it got exploded. So situation also plays a criteria. It is one of the key criteria to become a entrepreneur for many of them. Moving ahead, there are some attitudes and behavior you should maintain. So once you decided to become entrepreneur, there are some attitudes and behavior we should follow. To name a few, the first and foremost is commitment. So as an employee, you can always come up with an excuses, but as an entrepreneur, there is no option to say that sorry, I forgot, I missed out, I had family function at my place. No, there is no such excuses. Once you're committed to something, you have to execute. Second thing is you should lead from the front. What I mean by leadership is you should lead from the front. If you are running behind, oh, no, let them do, then your employer may not support you. My boss is not ready to face people, or my boss not is not ready to lead from the front. I should be always on the front. Then why should I work under him? So you should be always leading from the front. Then opportunity obsession, very important. Don't think that opportunity will simply come and sit inside your pocket. Opportunity, what it does, it simply knocks everyone's door. Friends, opportunity knocks everyone's door. Those who are smart enough, they will open the door and invite the opportunity and grab the opportunity. Those who are not good in opportunity grabbing, they'll think, oh, it is might not be my door, somebody else's door. If they really want, let them knock second time or let them bell the ring. So it is not going to happen. And you should be tolerant enough to handle the risk, ambiguity and uncertainties. So there are even today also, it is not in the beginning stages. This formula remains forever. Ambiguity, should I do or not? Should I take that or not? Always kind of 50-50. So in that case, you have to try your luck or you have to persistent on your, okay, let me take it. If wrong, there is nothing to lose. It is always winning or learning. There is nothing called losing here. So with that attitude, you should be able to take those decisions. Creativity and self-reliance. When I say creativity, there is no fun doing something which is somebody has already done and we are just copying it. And I say self-reliance also. There is if there is no grip on what you do, then you are simply relying on somebody else. Then your business or your startup or your entrepreneurship journey will not last long. You should be in a situation, if something worst case happens, none of your team is there to help you out. You should be in a position to take the lead from the front, or you should be in a position to take at the ground level and do that job. You should not simply say that I'll be depending on that. At any point of time, I should be able to sit and do that. Adaptability. Getting adjusted to the situation. Don't think that today I'll be tomorrow's diary I'll be writing today. Everything goes fine. No, but something situation happens and I should be able to put my shoes into that situation. Don't think that everything will be as per plan. So getting adapted to the situation is one of the very important attitude or the behavior every entrepreneur should have. Motivation to excel. Friends, it is there is no point in becoming entrepreneur by I want to grow myself. I'm least bothered about the surrounding people. There is no point until unless you should become a role model for some people and you should help them to excel in their life. Until unless you do that, so you cannot be called as a successful entrepreneur. You may be thinking that why should I do that? I'm very greedy about only about me. That is absolutely wrong. So I should motivate, I should help people to come to, may not be to my level, at least to get into this entrepreneurship or any level. So we have to motivate people to excel on their skill sets. That's what I would like to say here. Okay, now the heading, it may look very funny, but when I say the phases or the evolution of entrepreneur, it will be like this. We'll be initially looking at the volumes. I need one business. I need one business. Not talking about I need money. After some time, I'll say I need revenue, where I'll get some money and I'll invest and I need revenue. After some time, I'll talk about profit. I need this much profit. After that, then we'll talk about the cash flow. There should be cash coming, cash going, profit remains, revenue will be there, volume also will be there. But these looks very simple, only 4 levels, absolutely no. Let us get into little reality. In real time, as I said earlier, out of my experience, in a real phase, there are conceptual phases. Initially, maybe some of you right now, those are here, you have something in your mind, you were just imagining about yourself, this concept clicks out and I'm ruling the world, I'm selling only in India, then abroad, then many customers are waiting with their orders. Concept, only you're at the your dreamland. From that concept to then you will be moving into, some people will form birth phase, in the sense they will put it into reality. Then that time they may realize that okay, what and all I had dreamt, it is not in the real scenario is entirely different. So but there is always a firm birth phase. From there, a persistence, there will be a lot of struggle, quite a lot of struggle. The things what you are imagining is in reality is not at all the case. So there is a persistence phase. From there, if you are able to succeed there, then that will be called established phase. You are ready to face any kind of situation. Established. Corona continue, the lockdown continue next year also. Yes, I'm able to survive because I'm very well established. Last one is renowned. Then you will be known to the entire world because you are already established. None of the situation can demotivate or degrade you. So that is the renowned phase. Friends, I am 100% sure that most of you are in your conceptual phases. To reach the renowned phases, you have to pass all these hurdles. Okay, entrepreneurial process. Now let us get into this part. So I'll explain the theoretical part, then I'm going to take you to enough time to the practical cases. First, identify the opportunity. Don't simply I'll start a company, then I'll look for opportunity. No, absolutely wrong. First, you should identify an opportunity where you want to get into. Once you identify the opportunity, then establish a vision using that opportunity, what you are going to do or where you will find yourself after year, after 2 years, after maybe 3 years, or after maybe 5 years. You should have a proper vision in front of you with that opportunity where you would like to land. Okay, next, once you establish your vision, preparation. This is a very important phase. You have to prepare for your vision. I need to start or to take that opportunity. I need 10 people to begin with. So you have to get right people in your firm. So those preparation. For this, I need so and so physical setup. For this, I need so and so any of the input like hardware, software, manpower, office space, internet, what all those things you have to be prepared with. Once this preparation is done, very important, gather the resources. So here preparation is nothing but identifying the resources, and the next phase would be the fourth phase process would be gather all those resources, gather the best resources, I would say. Once you gather the gathering process or create a venture or product or service, what you have identified in the step one, that is opportunity, convert it into a product or convert that into service. Some people thinks that is the end of the process. Unfortunately, the continuity starts from here, nothing but changing ourselves, adapting with the time. Depending on the situation, we have to adapt with the time. So these are the 6 entrepreneurial process. Now let us get into reality now. Okay, realistic. Those are purely theoretical. Okay, step 1 says, now here, idea or the concept. If you have something in your mind, just ask these 2 questions. Why I should do that? Why I should do that? And why not I should do that also? Very simple. Why I should do that? Point number 1. Okay. If you have a proper answer or if you don't have a proper answer also, just think somebody or you might have come up with some concept. Why not I should do that? Why and why not? These 2 questions should lead you further into the getting into the idea or getting into the entrepreneurship process. Why and why not? Once you're done with that, what is the goal? Is it charity kind of thing? And any of these your ideas or the concept, you put a deadline. I'm going to try my luck or I'm going to put all my effort for next, say, 1,000 days. Maybe approximately 3 years, or maybe small ventures, I'm going to try for next 100 days. And in that 100 days, if I'm able to achieve this goal, yes, I'm going to continue. If not, that is not your cup of tea. Got it? So you should have a proper goal, not only just goal, but goal with the duration. I should reach that goal by so and so. That is very important. Once this is done, the main task starts preparation. As I told, physical setup, clerical setup, licenses, the manpower, everything, the setups, the preparation works, very important. Once that has been done, then manpower, raw materials, computers, any other, internet, depending on the nature or the kind of business what you are planning to start with or the service or the product, gather all these things. Once that has been done, the next is release, promote, market, sell, improvise. As I told earlier, most of the people will fail at this phase. They have done very good job. They couldn't release properly, or they are not able to promote it properly. They are not able to market it properly, or they are not able to sell it at the best rate, or they couldn't improvise. So this is where they are going on the downfall. So stage 5. But as I told earlier, stage 6 is very important to sustain. That is, revise yourself. Revise, don't stick on to the 10 years old technology. Depending on the current trend, you have to revise yourself, and then only you'll be able to grow. If you are ready to modify your good old concept to the current trend, go for it. Then only you'll be able to grow. So this is how in realistic. Okay, very, very, very interesting slide, entrepreneurial process. This slide, the reason I have put this slide because I started my firm in the year 2009. And in the year 2014, I got married. That time, soon after my marriage, my wife used to ask me a question. I didn't understand what exactly you are doing in the office. I was like laughing. What is that question? But she was very serious. No, I'm very serious. You tell me what are you doing at your office? And I was like, answerless. Then she continued further, saying, since I have visited your office and I know little people over there, I know there is a receptionist who handles all the phone calls and all. And you have a HR and administrator guy who will be handling all the HR activities, hiring, recruiting, manpower, and administrative office administrative in the sense looking after the current bill or telephone bills, all the administrative tasks. And you have a account department where they will take care of all the billings, invoicing, quotations, and all. And you have a say marketing department where they will do the survey and the marketing sales department separate. And you have a project management project manager who will be taking care of the project leading the project or putting the deadlines, making sure. And we have a team lead and a tech lead also, technical lead also. So they are doing all those things. Then what are you doing? I was like, is it a valid question? What I'm doing then? So I had a confusion in my mind and where I'm not able to answer to my wife. Then fortunately what happened is I met one of my professor. Sir, I'm in a situation desperately I have to get an answer for this for two reasons. First, I have to answer to my wife. I'm recently got married and in the first day of my marriage, I'm not able to answer her question. Second thing, even it made me to think what actually I'm doing. So then he told me about this something called Timon's model. That gives a beautiful analogy of what will be the founder's role or an entrepreneur's role. So generally, we all, even including myself, will be thinking when I say draw a chart of entrepreneurship and all, we'll be thinking the